Yeah. I remember. I don't know.
Okay, your slide fill working
Yep,
for,
yep, and we've got the live stream going and. I'm getting reverberation. I think it's because you're playing on you. They should click, you can do this in videos on the right side. Okay, we are live stream. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
So you have a summary
Sure.
slideshow of the,
Yeah, would you like me to go through the slideshow or?
just a brief summary on the application. We
Sure.
can discuss further.
Yeah.
There's
I
questions.
can do that. So we have one planning board agenda this evening. It's a historic site review for 34 Ringerhoff Street. It's a roof repair 2024. The request is to repair a flat roof system on an accessory structure that with an in-kind membrane replacement for the real property located at 34 Ringerhoff Street. So that's a typo. It is not within the market district. I apologize. It is a standalone parcel that is on the National Register of 34 Ringerhoff Street. The parcel is zoned C for the downtown commercial. The applicant preparer is Bill Merrill. He's here with us this evening. He's the building grounds co-chair and the property owner. The property owner at the First Presbyterian Church. This is the location of the parcel, again, zoned C. Here's a close-up of this parcel with the contributing structure in the blue area. And then this is the meat of it. The historically designated church is the primary structure. The accessory structure, which will receive this roof repair, is the educational wing. That is the picture to the left of the left. The bottom middle picture has been added to show how the two structures join and relate to one another. So the primary structure was built in around 1868, and then the accessory structure, which is not contributing to the historical character, was built approximately in 1965. And these pictures are to show that the roof repair replacement project will not be visual to any passers-by or anyone who is actually physically on top of the roof. Here is an overview of the nomination and contributing characteristics of the primary structure. So it was an example of a mid-19th century static architecture. The notable features are rectangular masonry, limestone structure with dark blue stone used in courses of ashlar and to gray stone to detail the water tables, sills, buttresses, weatherings, pots, and all three sections of the chimney pots. The spire and the roof are slated into two-tone colors. the plan of the church was unique at the time with the tower, being of particular importance. Its tall and visually dominant stature, was a maximus that hits the 3-4-story commercial block surrounding it. So, and specific on the nomination form, it was called out that the educational wing was a non-contributing structure. It was built for offices and in a church school in approximately 1965. And here are colored versions of the black and white photos that are included in your packets to show this section, a bird's eye view of the section of the roof educational wing that will receive this repair. And then standing water on the existing roof, pulling back some of the existing membrane and just other cooling and deterioration of the character, showing things. And the materials proposed to be used is an EPTM system, membrane system. And the color that they've chosen is just black to shades. This was referred out to SHPO on May 24th. We just received a response back last Friday stating that the church is individually listed on the National Register, and it was the opinion or the project to support it. Two other historic site reviews have come through for this property. One in 2009 for stucco repairs to the educational wing, and that was approved. Another was a 2016 review, and that was for an approval, a chain link fence. A chain link fence project with a vinyl black wrap, shrubbery, and that review was also approved. We, in the last few years, we have had 3 other similar but slightly different roof repair reviews within historic districts. These were not for flat roofs, but were replacement with similar materials. All 3 projects were approved and had support from SHPO. So I can dive into the details of those if you'd like a little bit further. Yeah, we did that.
I think we're all good.
Okay. This was referred out to other city departments for their associated review comment back. We received no comment or objections to this project moving forward. This does need to go through and have a secret determination placed on it. This planning staff does recommend classifying the action as a type 2 action for section 617.5 C2 of the State Environmental Review Quality Act, and determine for a determination that further environmental review is necessary. The applicable standard for this repair and rehabilitation would be rehabilitation, and the evaluation for the rehabilitation standards would be standards 2, 3, 5, and 6, which appear to be quite applicable and will have been met and satisfied by the I can dive into those standards if you would like. And otherwise, my slide show. Within your packets, we do have a staff report and a draft resolution. which recommends approval. With, no major corrections. Staff files this application and review quite straightforward. And hopes to minimize, the lengthiness of such an application review from the commissioner representing.
You still have this as two separate resolutions, correct, for
Yes.
establishing. the two actions.
Resolution 24-07A is for the secret finding. And then resolution number 2407B is for the swap site review and determination.
And again,
It's not reflected on the agenda, but it's there. No, it's not made, right? Actual resolution statement.
so
Or you're right, there's not an additional section.
Oh, okay.
On the agenda for 5 and section 5.
Okay.
So we need it. But I think that could be easily added.
Yeah.
there any discussion on the board on some questions? If not, we have a few more minutes. Does that have any other business or zoning updates or any other?
Nothing of major importance at this point in time. We've had our zoning public workshop last week. We didn't have a huge turnout, unfortunately. I think 12 people attended. But it was a robust amount of information, and it essentially concludes one of the last stages of the zoning update process. So we're doing the last and final stage 5 of the update, which again is also quite exciting. So our consulting team is working to begin compiling final drafts of documents and proposals. We'll still continue to have PAC meetings. Our PAC meeting this month was canceled just because of the proximity to the public workshop. And the consultant team needed some extra time to prepare additional documents for the full PAC group to review and comment back on. Our next PAC meeting, I believe, is scheduled for, or will be scheduled for July 24th, which is.
So it's not sent up yet, is it?
It's not.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was kind of wondering what happened to the meetings. I mean, I can't make the daytime ones, but
Good evening.
evening ones.
Yeah, so those are, we've been trying to hold those once a month.
Yep.
On Tuesday evenings, on the 4th Tuesday of the month.
Yep.
Some we have had to readjust because of public workshops or weather or whatnot. But the target is to have the next full PAC meeting, I think it's the 24th of July. Or third Tuesday, 23rd. And then we will continue our weekly workshops, PAC workshops for work sessions on Thursdays. But again, this week's and next week's are canceled because of the amount of work that we might require us to do the next week's holiday. So I think we'll be resuming the 9th. The 11th. And those are the highlights right now.
Forgot what the target date is for actual drafts to the public, the final draft to the public and to the documents.
Yep, so final drafts, hoping to start trickling some of those drafts out over the summer. But with a full draft towards the end of August. A complete draft by beginning of September, I think. And then that would initiate the beginning of the adoption process, the adoption process. So, fingers crossed that by November, December, we'll have something.
Open committee. Works right now with the meeting planning staff and all.
So Courtney did present a request, for bathrooms. But, which part the contract was for, you might know better than I. I think it was possible. Bathrooms. And initially it was taken off of the agenda because we didn't have full council, last council meeting. And then the councilors that were present at the meeting requested for it to be re-added to the agenda. So they voted on that. The award got to be added and they voted on it. To move it forward.
About the,
So those accepted bids or are they putting it out there?
I believe it was to read it.
I think, but what about, what happened to the current planning proposal that the law firm? Yeah. The wastewater treatment plant.
For the facade,
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
the facade improvements. That I don't believe those have been, the designs have been finalized at this point. I keep hearing that they're ready to be finalized, or getting close to being finalized, and then going to bed. But I have not heard that they've been.
Is that committee still active or is that now just off the design stage based on?
Yeah, I haven't heard any updates from the committee, so I believe it's just been between the consultant and the project lead. But I've never actually represented.
Still, I need more. How about the river trip?
Saranac River Trail?
Yeah.
That is, so for, Saranac River Trail Phase 3, which goes from the Riverwalk Trail, essentially across from the walk on Bridge Street, and would run up to the intersection of Green Street and Bridge, down Green Street, and then connect up with the University Trail and wrap around the Saranac River to Peace Point Park. That has been under design, which many know, preliminary times. We've been going back and forth with DOS, the consultant has been responding to the draft plan comments, the draft report comments, and I just responded to a couple of questions for the end of last week, which should have completed the response to DOS's request for additional information. So hopefully we'll get the DOS approval to be able to make that forward project forward to the final stage of design. Yes. We will see. It's taken a little bit longer than I expected for them to get through responding to the draft. DOS has also had a change in staffing. That's now to be able on their side.
Would that go out for bid then this year as well, I think, is to start the following year? or-
No, I would expect it will go out.
Hmm.
Probably. Yeah, late winter.
It was yours, right, or 2026 then, construction, et cetera?
The update on the city beach.
I don't have any updates about what kind of updates.
I don't know, it's nice, big open piece of land.
Oh,
Where the core centers that what?
Yeah.
No updates on that piece of this city beach parcel. And we haven't had any for additional. That's gonna be probably an item on next year's agenda. Just.
It's funny, 20 years ago, I met with Live Nation on that site. Maybe it was.
that's what I was waiting up there with my shirts.
Oh, we had. It's stuff.
I bet you get that, I bet you get public input to those plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. One exciting piece for the zoning update, we did look recently. To consider what zoning should be placed on that. And Reed's Lane. So it's approximately, just off the top of my head, about a 230-acre parcel that the city wants to make on. The far west side of the city town boundary. West side of the river. Right where we were. And it had previously been zoned by the town prior to annexation, but that that zoning expired after I think 1 year timeframe. We've had it for almost 3 years now. So we went through quite a few different scenarios and brainstorming sessions. Met with the town, actually Jim Abdullah was present because AETA assisted in providing concept plans of what a build out of the property would look like. So tried to get into the outside. The thought process ahead of annexation and then the future determination for the property. So the proposal that we're looking at is kind of a mixed use business commercial on the northern side of the parcel. That would allow some residential, and that would be compatible for the surrounding properties, which have some industrial and some residential. So industrial directly to the east, residential to the west, and north and west, and then industrial also further to the east, southeast. But then the town is also looking at potentially a multi-million development. And so we really looked at how we could blend the uses of that property while still maintaining the characteristics and the industrial allowances. So the southern portion of it, we're looking at proposing to remain industrial, at least for the foreseeable future.
Is that little cemetery on the site making the start?
What was that?
There's a little cemetery that you can see from the interstate driving north. That's
Okay.
right on that property.
I wasn't aware of that.
Is that a historic? I see some stuff.
For some reason, I think that is like, somebody, right?
It's like,
as well, the walkway
yeah,
as well, but
it's like on top of the knoll.
they're very extravagant, there's like a tree.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Is the city the only property owner of that lane?
Yes.
So does that mean by going through the zoning process, the city intends to classify it as surplus? Put it on the market or is the city building?
No, that would be a whole other set of meetings, likely
Few actions.
analysis and associated studies. But like, at least one, if not a few master plan processes.
Yes.
Like, if we decide to do that.
By the process.
What's the plant that's back there? Is it a compost plant or is that a wastewater treatment plant?
It's, yeah, the old compost.
Is that, but that's not still in use, right?
No, it has permits that are still active for it.
But it hasn't-
Use.
yeah, but it hasn't been used for decades.
It's been several years, I think, since I don't know how the city treats it for its yeah, keep it active.
Sure. So there might need to be some activity to keep those companies working.
I was just saying, I think they do some level composting, but like sludge. That's,
Yeah, it's their place.
yes. And I think the other thing that's nice is the city planning was able to, or the town planning was able to correspond with our city's consultant with regards to the proposal. Come to some levels of agreement on,
Exactly, yeah,
you know, what's being proposed today.
because one of the first iterations proposed that we included the town in was the idea to keep industrial zoning for the entire parcel, and the town, they weren't super in favor of that, and pointed out all of the different residential developments, and the corridor connectivity that they were trying to build out along River Street and multiple different perspectives. So I think it really feels like a balanced decision moving forward, between maintaining as much of the property for industrial. We don't want to lose it for industrial if we have to, because once you lose industrial, it's really hard to get back. And kind of the dying breed in the use arena. But we also incorporated a mix of uses that for the first one.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Great question.
I believe it is 6:01, so call the meeting to order for the regular planning board agenda for Monday, June 24th, 2024. You can all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Jim Abdall,
Yes.
Rick Carey,
Yes.
Abby Nister. Yes. Tom Castro.
Yes.
Carly Weaver. Yes.
Thank you. So we have one agenda item tonight, planning board agenda 24-07. Project name is 34 Brinker Hodge Street Roof Repair 2024.
And I'd just like to remind the board ahead of this, on the agenda, this shows up as one agenda item, but it is a two-part resolution, 23-07A and 23-07B. It will need to be voted on.
Thank you.
Starting off, we have for our first agenda item, which is a historic site review for 34 River House Street. That's roof repair for 2024. The request is to repair an existing flat roof on an accessory structure, which is the educational wing, with an in-kind EPDM membrane replacement to the real property located at 34 Riverhoff Street. And which is a standalone historic property. The tax map parcel is 207.4-2-24. The parcel is on C. The applicant prefers Bill Merrill. He's the building and grounds co-chair for the property owner, which is First Presbyterian Church. Again, this property is located at 34 Riverhoff Street. Bill is here with us this evening. The red star shows the location of the property within the Zone C zoning district, downtown zoning district. Here is a close-up bird's eye view of the parcel, which includes primary structure, the First Presbyterian Church, and then the educational wing on the northern side, which is the backside. Here are a few photos of the educational wing with its flat roof highlighted to the left, attached to the church, which is to the right. The church is the primary structure. And then a center photo, which shows the backside along at the intersection of Marion and Protection Ave, the church and the educational wing where they attach. The historical significance is that the church itself, constructed approximately 1868, is an example of 19th century plastic architecture. Notable features include rectangular masonry, limestone structure with dark blue stone used in courses rough ashlar and with gravestone to detail water tables, sills, buttresses, weatherings, clock and belfry sections, and chimney caps. The spire and roof are slated in 2 colors. The plan of the church is unique. The tower is particularly tall and visually dominant, and a visually dominant mass amidst the 3- and 4-story commercial lots. The educational wing, which is the portion of this church that will receive the roof repair. It was constructed as a rear addition for offices and church school in approximately 1965 and was identified as a non-contributing structure at the time of nomination. And there's a little site plan in the middle of the screen that shows the First Presbyterian Church, the primary structure, and then the wing just off to it on the left-hand side. And here is a slide showing the existing conditions of the educational wing roof, and another bird's eye view of how that roof system and wing connects to the existing church. There's standing water and pieces of membrane that can be peeled up quite easily, and other debris on the roof showing signs of deterioration. This slide shows provides an overview of the EPDM replacement materials and the installation manner. The color that has been chosen is black. Again, this is a membrane roof system for what is essentially a flat roof. The application was referred to SHPO on May 24th with the response received back first, stating that the church is individually listed on the National Register and that it is the opinion of ORPA that the project is appropriate. 2 historic site review applications are on file and approved for this structure. One is case number 9-11. from 2009, which was an approval of stucco repairs to the educational wing. The second was case 2016-10 for the approval of a chain fence with vinyl black wrap by shrubbery. Another application for a different site was, but similar project was application 22-16 for 13 Macomb Street. To replace an existing asphalt roof with standing seam roof. And that was approved by the planning board in 2022. Now, application 23-04 for 102 Bridge Street is also a similar application for an in-kind replacement of an existing asphalt roof. That was approved by the planning board in August 2023. Application 24-03 for 33 Hamilton Street. Was for an in-kind replacement of an existing asphalt roof again, the primary and accessory structures, and that was approved by the planning board in 2023. All three of those were within historic districts. This was referred out to other city departments for any additional comments. Or concerns with the application, no comments were received back. Seeker was also considered, so part 1 EAF was submitted by the applicant. Planning staff has reviewed that and recommends classifying the action as a type 2 action for section 617.5C2 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and for the planning board to determine no further environmental review would be necessary. For this historic site review, the applicable standard identified is rehabilitation, and rehabilitation. Excuse me, that's very tongue-tied. The applicable standard for this historic site review is rehabilitation has been identified as the applicable treatment standard. The evaluation of the rehabilitation standards are standards 2, 3, 5, and 6, which appear to be applicable and appear to have been satisfied. So I can dive into these standards if the board would like. Otherwise, I would hand it back to you.
We have some standards, or we good with the copies received?
We're good, thank you.
Thank you. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So we do have Mr. Merrill here today. Do you have anything else you wanted to offer in regards to your application, or?
No, I think it's fit together well and pretty straightforward.
Okay. Does the board have any questions, comments? One question I had, any type of flashing or coping work, therapists that you anticipate?
Yeah, so there is there was one document that talked about the flashing, and they're going to use the existing flashing, they're going to bend it up, put a new bar underneath, seal on top of that, and bend it back over on the parapet walls and openings.
Okay. And any that would need to be replaced would be matching the kind of basically color.
Yeah, correct.
Did you sustain any damage underneath that?
We just have some water stains. It's a drop ceiling. And that's where we sort of noticed it when the roofing contractor came. He basically said with the standing water, he didn't see any water coming through, but it's when you have the snow load that puts pressure on the seams, and that's where he feels that it's coming from. And it's sort of interesting because if you follow some of this color ceiling tiles, they're in a line that where seams are. So, I just think it's the seams have seen their useful life and it's time to do a repair.
Two. Any other questions from the board? Okay, if not, we do have a public hearing associated with this application, so I'll move to open the public hearing for any comments. from anyone. Does not appear that anybody's here to public comment further, so we'll move to close the public hearing. We do have again a draft resolution 24-07A and 24-07B. In 24-07A, that is drafted around the recommendation of staff that this be a type 2 action. Essentially requiring no further secret review. No further review environmental. So it. Board is general agreement with that. The motion for draft resolution 24-07.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Rick won the race. Roll call.
Jim Abdallah,
Yes.
Rick Perry,
Yes.
Abby Dusenberg, yes, Tom Foster,
Yes.
Carly Weir, yes.
Thank you. And then we have a second resolution 24-07B. For approval of the application as presented. For the motion.
I can make a motion to approve the resolution as written.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Jim Abdallah,
Yes.
Rick Perry,
Yes.
Abby Dusenberg, yes, Tom Foster,
Yes.
Carly Weir, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just one question, so is there a time constraint around this approval? A 2-year, a 1 year? To get the work completed?
That
I
would
don't-
be stated in the resolution.
I was gonna say, I don't believe there's an expiration of historic.
No, you
Yeah, or,
time frame to start. Then the building permit dictates the length of time that the building permit is active.
okay,
So, yeah, time frame will pretty much be dictated by the building.
Okay.
It's that.
and how does this approval get to the building permit, so I can?
We'll share it with the building department. When we share it out with the as well.
Okay, yeah, just like it's scheduled the contractors, school repair season now. So it's probably going to be the fall after kids are back in school. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice night. I think we addressed most of the business of this meeting. So, if there's no other questions.
I just have one question, the proposed administrative evaluation of these historic, would this be a classic case or the administrative decision? Thank you.
Yeah, and does everybody understand the question?
Yeah.
And my answer, yeah, so this would, if the zoning update goes, as approved to these with historic site section. This would completely go through the process. Not have to go to the office officer.
Yes. That results in less work for you, staff as well, right? And, or do you still have to go through this level of?
I mean, we have to do the level of analysis.
Yeah.
Just to confirm, but we wouldn't have to put a presentation because there would be less correspondence.
Would you have to write a staff report for an internal?
Yes.
I think good, stay here so late so much.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't
I'll get to not have the time to spend.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, it, for things like a roof repair, it can slow project timelines down too. If it's just a complete replacement of existing materials. You know,
I think 2 out of the 3 of those examples that you gave to probably be.
yeah, all except for the metal seam,
But
because the metal seam.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, and that's been, this has been the standard review. So they would probably just. Leave that. I'm down.
The only other-
People just do stuff without even putting an application.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, I honestly, I mean, there have been some, and. It seems the building department is pretty good at catching some,
Yeah.
but. You never know what happens on the weekends.
Do the homeowners get notified? I mean, I was in real estate, I don't know.
Yeah.
Necessarily aware that when they purchase, oh, you're in historic district, does the city somehow notify, or when they do the reclassification, if they would send like a blanket letter out to each person, be like, hey, by the way, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in the past and currently now, the. A lot of people don't know that they're in historic districts. We actually had an applicant last fall come through and she's like, I've gotta get this work done, it's right in my house.
Yeah.
And didn't know I bought in a historic district. But that kind of prompted us, as we're going through the zoning update process, we're getting the historic districts, the national boundaries. Added to our zoning map as, and will be an overlay for the existing for the zoning districts. And then the question did come up in our public workshop last week, if people will be notified if they have any sort of zoning changes. That's not a question we fully vetted yet, but I think depending on the robustness of that effort, I think it would be worthy of us putting some thought into, because there could be a lot of changes. Just, you know, minor changes here and there. But,
I think I learned last week at the
right.
workshop that they had mentioned my grandmother's in industrial, she was on Wall Street, so if something ever happened. And she couldn't rebuild within a year, which we all know here that. It is certainly longer than a year to rebuild, that she could potentially not be able to rebuild. As the standards are right now, so it was, that was some good information, and I think people don't. I don't think they're wanting to do it on the weekends, there are those people, there's always gonna be those people, but I think there are people out there that want to do the right thing, it's just the education piece that they don't know.
Absolutely, yeah, so I think that's just something that we have to internally discuss as a committee, and then as, you know, an administrative body, like. What the logistics of notifying committee looks like and the cost. But hopefully we'll be able to work that in over the process. As once it's adopted. A lot.
Good. Motion to adjourn.
I can make the motion.
Perfect. All in favor? Thank you.
Which one's are you tonight? The oiler, the oil.